Hello, this is the Mothman, and you are listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah, top hats to anal probing. That's how we do it around here.
Then they had a flatbread
Flatbread truck.
They had a flatbed truck.
That's the tastiest truck on the planet.
Holy moly, there's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my phone? It came into my suitcase. I threw it
It
off
did
the...
what in a suitcase?
They attribute it to El Vampiro de Mocha, the vampire of Mocha. It was
Vampire of
chocolate.
of Mocha. Yeah.
That's right. Hey, stop all the beaming.
Stop all the beaming, UFO.
Hashtag stop the beaming.
Oh, man.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Abby.
I'm Evan.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
Man, that's a big table. It's like the Knights of the Round Table sitting around here.
Huzzah!
We are joined by Abby. If you remember on the last episode, she works at Moo Duck, and we pre-gamed at Moo Duck, and somehow this time we convinced her to come home with us.
Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle.
And then go into the creepy basement. And
Yeah, it's not
Come
a
into,
creepy basement.
come into our basement.
It's called the
with us.
studio.
That's right.
And you will never leave. And I'm kidding.
Buffalo Bill had the same.
on.
It's the studio. It's not the basement.
And Evan, Little Nash is back.
What's up, bruh?
So this, I'm going to warn the listeners up front. I have a feeling this is going to go off the rails.
It has a potential to do so, yes.
And I think it just did. So, hey, should be a good time. But before we get to our main topic, which is Shag Harbour UFO incident.
Shaggy Harbor.
What'd I just say?
Sag.
Saggy.
Is there a place called Shag Harbour?
Yeah, it's what happens when gravity affects old people.
It was my nickname in high school. I
Shag Harbour.
think the Golden Girls had a band.
Damn it. Whose idea was it to pregame?
Exactly.
Now, anyway, before we get to the Shag Harbour UFO.
Yeah, baby.
Quickly, I just want to remind everybody,
Which is my
if you
current
like
nickname.
beef jerky, we got a sponsor, Moses Family Jerky. If you use code SPOOKYJERKY15, guess what?
You get a discount.
You get a discount. 15% off jerky. In fact, you could almost get the bags of steak, delicious
It's fantastic.
steak, for like under $6.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Very good.
We ordered the original. You guys ordered the spicy.
Spicy.
Oh, it's so good.
I do want to get the ghost pepper one.
The ghost pepper, yeah.
Yeah, not the Reaper.
Well, and they had a barbecue. They had all kinds of flavors. They were
Yeah, head on over to mfjerky.com. Use
Spurky code.
Spooky code, Spooky Jerky 15. You'll save money and tell them that you love us. It's cool.
That's right.
All right. I have a message from Chris from England.
Oh,
You do know that we have listeners across the pond, right?
Well, okay.
Wow.
Chris sent us an email. I'd like to read it for you guys. He says, or she, hey, guys.
Right.
Well, Jeff's wife is Chris,
That's true.
so I don't want to. Hey, guys. Great show. Love the mix of humor and presentation of the information surrounding each case you look at. I have recently been recovering from wisdom tooth removal.
Oh, that sucks.
And binging episodes of Paranormal Punchers help get me through each day
Nice.
and forget the pain in my jaw. Seems laughter is the best medicine.
Yes.
Sadly, it means I'm all caught up now. Would love to hear you guys do shows on either of the following. David Pilates' Missing 411 and Skinwalker Ranch. Which,
That sounds interesting.
yeah,
Sounds like a Lay's potato chip, doesn't it?
no.
Num, num, num.
Not at all. And they continue as both are really creepy and incredible paranormal cases. Keep up the great work. Chris in London, England. Keep on paranormal punching.
Nice.
Hashtag.
Chris, thank you so much. I'm glad that we helped get through your wisdom teeth
Definitely.
surgery.
Definitely. That's a nasty.
Why you
nasty-
We
laughing,
are
Dave?
better than dental surgery.
Yeah, we're better than Oxycontin.
Well, I don't know.
That's probably not true.
That's a hard one to.
Definitely not.
And you can always hit us up, paranormalpunches.com, send us a message like Chris did, and we'll talk about it on the air and say silly things. Now, since Abby works at Mood Duck, I wanted to give a little shout out to one of our own, Nash Makes Beer.
Yep.
He was in the Moo Funk home brewing contest.
I was.
And you took third place.
I
bro.
took third place. That's right. I
Awesome.
tied for third with Waterfowl Brewing. It came down to a clincher of a tiebreaker, but I won the tiebreaker.
Nice.
Oh, you won the tiebreaker.
Yes. So definitely Waterfowl. Thank you for making great beer. You know, obviously we're equally as popular with everybody. Second place went to Nash Brewing,
But not you.
which is not me.
That's not you.
Not me, but they make a heck of a Kolsch over there. Yeah. And then first place, I can't remember their name. That's killing me. But they took like half of all the votes went to the first place winners. They did a great job.
He actually came into the bar the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They made
Apparently it was
fantastic
really
beer.
good.
They really did. They really
What
did.
It's like
style
a
was that?
9%.
Oh, they did two. They did like a pineapple something and then a coffee stout. And their coffee stout was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was.
Nash, which beer did you win for?
Well, I don't really know because they were voting for the brewery. So, yeah.
Because you had two beers rocking. Because
yeah.
I was helping Nash tap beers all day. Well, 3 hours. It's not all day.
Right.
We had
Just
some
seemed like
Paranormal Puncher swag up, so it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because people were into talking about the paranormal and drinking delicious beers. But
Yeah.
I was tapping the
the shoe fly stout.
shoe fly. That's what it's called.
Yeah, shoe fly stout. So it was heavy in dates and molasses.
Sounds amazing.
It was really good. And I'm not a
Sounds
stout
like
guy,
a
but it was
holiday.
delicious.
It probably
Sounds like a
is.
Thanksgiving
Yeah.
beer.
And then I was pouring my Golden Dawn ale, which is a lemon ale. Really bright, hoppy, lots of lemon, lots of hops. It was a nice summertime, just get done cutting the grass kind of beer.
Princess of Hell.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
What's the difference?
That's
And
right.
the beer is named after the cult Victor Crowley was in.
That's correct.
Golden Dawn.
So kind of
Alistair Crowley.
Who'd I say? Victor Crowley?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a movie by Adam Green
Words.
about a ghost in Louisiana that chops your shit up with a hatchet.
Oh, okay.
They drop shit.
Sounds like a cheap hit at my house.
This is a PG-13.
That's right, Lil Nash. Let's keep it clean. Thank you, sir.
Well, congratulations, because I thought your beer was really delicious.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I don't want to say I'm very impressed. I should know that you'd be able to produce a good beer, but it was awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing it.
Okay, enough about Nash.
That's right.
We're moving on. It's time to get into not SAG,
Shag.
Hag.
the Shag Harbour UFO. I'm going to set it up for everybody, and we got enough people at this table to tell you stories.
Have some opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, where'd that come from? So on October 4th, 1967, an unknown large object come out of the sky. And it kind of like went down over the water.
Hold on.
No. I'm introducing. You can add to.
I was going to
No interruptions.
introduce also. Where was this at?
Shag Harbour.
Where?
In Nova
I'm
Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
I'm getting there. No, I'm gonna do this the way I planned it. Here we go again, everybody. Listeners at home,
Do you guys edit?
play along.
Screw you guys.
No, I won't edit any of this out. Nash wanted to be a interrupting elephant.
Just like, where?
Wait, where?
Gotta love the
Here we go.
Where?
On October 4th, 1967, an unknown large object entered the waters near Shag Harbour, a tiny fishing village in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia.
Nice.
You didn't let me
I didn't
get the
let
whole thing
you.
out,
I didn't
bro.
let you. I'm
Capital.
sorry. I didn't let you.
Now, what I did find funny is like this tiny fishing village has a lot of
Fish?
unique legend and lore. Stories of giant sea serpents, man-eating squid, ghost ships, Dave.
And squid eating man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But now it's also known for a major event, a major UFO sighting. Every witness agreed, because there was a lot of people who saw this. There was 4 orange lights that evening on October 4th. Lish?
4 orange lights.
I thought there was just one. Oh, darn it.
You did crappy research.
I know. Yeah, I know. I only looked at one video.
Okay.
Everybody give him a stinker.
So Shag Harbour is considered Canada's Roswell, basically. this whole UFO incident.
So they apologized for it.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, when we get through like the whole situation, I'll let you know there. But
Wow. You stumbled on a conspiracy trying to make a joke.
The conspiracies will happen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're ready for that.
so a little actually before this actually happened, there was some pilots flying a plane, and they noticed an object that was flying parallel with them, but like a few miles away. It was a brilliantly lit rectangular object with a string of smaller lights that were coming behind it. They were like, wow, this is really interesting. And then,
That's what the pilots were like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
well, I don't know what they said, but
I'd be like, UFO! Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking it was, but
Is it like on the highway when you like pull up next to somebody, you're driving at the same speed, and you're like, "What's up, guy?"
No.
I don't know. But a few minutes after that, then they noticed
Tom Cruise flipping the bird.
Yeah.
What was that, Lisha? You were
I
saying?
mean, isn't that what always happens?
Yes.
Okay.
When I'm flying along.
Sorry.
So they noticed, they said a silent explosion near the object.
Okay.
A few minutes later. I don't know what a silent explosion necessarily means, but
An SBD?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sexually.
But then a couple minutes later, there was another explosion, and it faded into a blue cloud that was around the object, and then the object disappeared from them at that point.
Okay.
So this was a couple hours before this actually happened, like the
Before
UFO.
everybody in Shag
Yes.
Harbour saw.
Yes, and I don't think it was around Shag Harbour. I think it was probably at another location in Canada, but this happened a couple hours before. And then around 10 o'clock is when people started calling radio stations and the police saying that they could see these lights up in the sky. Mm-hmm. And that's also when there was 5 teenagers that were driving, and they happened to notice there were 4 orange lights up in the sky. And they
It
were,
took a while to get back to those 4 orange lights.
I know. So
So make sure we're bringing it back around.
yeah. So the lights were actually, they were flashing in sequence. And then all of a sudden they started diving at, they said, a 45-degree angle towards the water's surface.
Okay.
And they were surprised that they actually didn't go into the water. They kind of like were either hovering above the water or they were floating on the water. They weren't really sure. But it says 1/2 mile, so I don't know if that means half mile or 1.5 miles. But
Yeah, and what I got is it came screaming down at a 45-degree angle and was making this like a whistle, like a bomb was descending.
Yeah.
And then right at the water surface, it kind of just stopped and hovered over the surface.
Okay.
Which, again, like that's, for that to be real, that's some incredible
Who reported
technology.
that? That was the pilots? Or
No.
the
This is
people on the
now. This
ground?
is people in
witnesses.
Shag.
Okay.
yeah.
Shaggers.
So, like, they didn't see it hit the water. They were expecting it to hit the water, but then reporting it as if it hit the water.
Yes. Yes, they were reporting as a plane crash. So they were concerned about survivors. So they contacted the Rescue Coordination Center, RCC for short,
Okay.
to advise them on the situation because they were like, is there aircraft that are missing? Like,
Right.
should we be like, should we know how many people would possibly on this plane?
Should we have like a search party, or what should we do to help out? Or
So a lot of people that did see it out on the water, they noticed a yellow light. Which you mentioned that, Mark. That's what they could see was this yellow light.
Well, the boat captain thought he described it as it was like 80 feet wide and
Yes.
darkish. He thought it kind of was yellowish in color, even
Yes.
in the dark.
Yes, and it had some kind of foam that was like I
Yeah,
guess
it was leaving
coming
yellow
behind it.
foam in the
Yeah,
water.
that's
Yeah.
what I heard about.
It was definitely
Yellow
like
foam.
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yellowish foam.
yeah,
You didn't hear
yellow
was it?
foam.
I missed that part.
You missed that part. Well, there was one. I don't know if it was a sea captain, but he said it had a sulfur smell.
Oh,
Also, so
interesting.
the ship itself was definitely like emitting a substance
Yeah,
into the water. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I beg to differ.
You
Chuckle,
beg-
chuckle.
All right, we'll get to your
uh-huh.
I
begging to differ from
I
me.
beg to differ.
Before
Crash
any,
landing.
Before-
Pump the toilets.
Yeah.
Alien pee in the water. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you gotta go where you gotta go.
Sorry.
So anyway, before they could even get out there to like rescue them, the object sank
Okay.
or went underwater.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So within half an hour of the crash, there were some local fishing boats that were going out there looking for survivors or whatever. They couldn't find survivors, bodies, or debris. They found nothing. But they still saw that yellow foam.
Okay.
So they were like, something has gone under the water. But nothing had come out of the object, ship, whatever. By the next morning, they had determined there was no planes missing. So they were like, it was not a plane crash. And then I think they had they were asked for divers so they could go down and look for this object. And after a couple days, they gave up because they couldn't find anything.
Right.
Okay.
I heard that they did find something.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a
Yeah, let's get to that. I would like to get back to just the initial sighting. You know,
Yeah.
these people
Yeah.
that were seeing these lights come down. Did you guys hear about the Constable Round Pound?
Yes.
What?
I'm sorry, Constable
What?
Ron Pound. Not.
Round Pound was
I
also
apologize.
my nickname in high school.
What research are you doing, Mark?
I apologize, Constable.
Actually, it was Ron
Man.
Pound around the town.
Ron
Man, poor
Pound.
Ron.
Not, not Round Pound.
People are punt.
Round. It's like a
Oh my gosh.
chemosatra.
The Constable,
Round pound.
Constable Pound.
The pounding.
He verified the same thing. He saw 4 lights. Now he, unlike the boat captain who thought it was like 80 foot, he was saying it was about 60 foot, and he thought he could see it was slowly kind of moving across the water, and leaving that yellowish foam.
Okay.
It was, I don't know what it was doing.
Man, they really need to piss.
And the reason I bring that up because I like the fact that we got a boat captain, we got a pack of teenagers,
Right.
We got other witnesses in town, and we got the constable. What?
This is a horror movie.
Like a teenager.
Oh, it does sound like a horror movie, doesn't it?
He kind of does.
But then we got the
We're
constable.
a fisher boat, whatever. We're going to go out and find this, and they're the ones that get infected and start the whole thing that brings the aliens to Earth. And I don't know. I'm just.
But all these reports are kind of the same thing, and they were all at different.
Right. Different perspectives,
yeah.
different viewpoints.
And for Constable Pound.
Dang.
He couldn't tell exactly if it moved too far in the distance, and that's why he couldn't see it anymore. If it dipped
If it's
into the
submerged.
water, which obviously,
Dipping
it's
and
submerged.
pounding.
yeah. So now we can move on to some divers, because that's where it gets really intriguing.
Now, Alicia, you're saying that the divers didn't find anything? Is that what?
Yeah, they couldn't find anything at all. And the official report from the Canadian government.
Canada?
Yeah, the Canada.
The Canadian?
They were like, oh, it was nothing. We don't really know what it was, but it wasn't. We didn't find anything.
Which is 100% not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Cute little Nash.
Because I heard that that they went under, and all they found was this darkish mound that wasn't there before.
A darkish mound.
Darkish mound.
Like on the bottom of the seafloor or the
Yes.
lake floor?
Lake floor.
Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Bottom of the water.
Yeah.
What was this? Was this at the Atlantic Ocean or a lake? Where was this? Where did it? What
Well,
water?
it would be
know.
Atlantic Ocean, so
Okay.
but it was
Then
like
seafloor.
around Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got
so-
a map on the front of yours there.
Wait, seriously?
Abby.
Canada.
Oh, bro, that's a dope, bruh.
I will pass it over.
and while everybody's passing their notes,
Oh, the
FYI,
Atlantic.
there was also a Coast Guard cutter that was dispatched. Coast Guard cutter 101, because obviously, if you would see this, it would look like a plane crashing.
Okay.
In the water, which obviously it's not the first time that's happened. So
Yeah.
immediately the Coast Guard, well, it's not. It's happened. It's happened before.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what it would look like. I think to most people.
That's what
so
aliens
they-
would want us to think.
True story.
Mimic what we know.
But a cutter ship was dispatched. They saw the yellow foam also. But they had to call off their search about 3 a.m. They found nothing. And that was kind of, which I would like to get to people.
How do we know they didn't find anything? They just said they didn't find anything.
Yes.
Well, you're saying they're
I
full of
heard
crap?
they did.
Okay, are they really going to let the cutter ship that swims up to this place to say that this is we found life on other planets?
I just like that you think that cutter ships swim up to something.
It's a new technology
Yeah.
they have. They have this like paddle wheel kind of a thing. Now, wasn't there somewhere nearby a submarine station? Weren't there submarines involved in something?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're building towards that.
yeah, we-
Okay, I'm getting there. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
It's okay.
But Little Nash, I mean,
Yes.
you were jumping in there about the divers. Because I would like to get to now, that's the, what would you like to call that? Here, we'll use nautical terms.
Oh, really?
Oh, we will.
Hopefully.
Oh, is that you? That's
Just call me Captain.
You like that stuff? You're Captain Little Nash?
What's aft mean? Can you tell me that?
What?
And Abby, hey, talk into the microphone.
What?
So
There you go.
That's all right.
I was worried I was breathing into the microphone.
Oh, it's
too
okay.
much.
No, because you brought the divers, because I was like, everything that initially was talked about. This happened, what, 1967?
67.
Yeah, 67.
It was very surface. It's what people saw, reports coming in. You can easily crap on that and chuck it out the window. But we need to go deeper to find the truth.
Figuratively.
And that's where this didn't happen, though, until like 1993 when I got his name here. Chris Stiles started digging in deeper. He
Yes.
was interviewing
About this?
He was
Yeah.
interviewing
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
divers, and that's when shit started coming out.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
About what they saw. We finally got an opportunity to hear about something more than just, oh, I saw lights in the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
He went a
Then why
couple
were they
layers.
quiet? Does it say why they were quiet? Because they were paid off by the government? Or
I don't
something?
know.
Oh.
Dun, dun,
Insert.
dun.
Hey, Little
Music.
Nash,
Dun, dun,
tell
dun.
us. Expose this.
So sorry.
They found all I heard was that once they got under.
There you go. That's perfect mic talk.
They
Stay in
got-
the pocket.
Once they got under the yellow foam, yellow foam.
Hashtag yellow
I
phone.
wonder how long it took them to like, all right, fine, I'll jump in and go through the yellow foam. Because it
Yeah.
probably looked disgusting.
Yeah.
Kind of like that
bet
kind
it
of the
smelled
pee you take in the
gross, too.
toilet after a big night of drinking.
Yeah.
How it gets really bubbly.
Yep.
Do you guys ever notice that?
No.
Yeah, that
It's
always.
the sugar. It's the sugar. In
I
your thing.
don't.
Is it the sugar?
It's the amount of sugar.
I thought, because it kind of looks like beer. I'm like, I thought I was just peeing out straight
It's
beer.
the sugar. It's
Well,
the
Little
sugar.
Nash, that's what you have to look forward to.
Lisha, have
So-
you gone
Thank
through
you.
this
I did.
as well?
It's the sugar.
Go figure.
That makes
Female
it
to female.
bubbly.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So, like I was saying, they went under. They were searching for a while, and they saw
Into
this.
the microphone,
They
buddy.
saw this darkish, dark mound that wasn't originally there before, and all the bottom mud stuff had been all stirred up. Yeah, I don't know what happened after that.
It
All
wasn't
right.
there.
Well, so this guy started interviewing these divers. Now, this Chris Stiles, he had a paranormal, not a paranormal. He had saw UFOs that really lit a fire under the dude's ass. To start investigating UFOs, he wrote a book.
He's
But
an
he interviewed.
investigator for MUFON.
What's
or
MUFON?
MUFON. Isn't that
Right,
the
but what is it?
alien organization? Like they're looking for UFOs and aliens and stuff. No,
Mother effing UFO. I'm trying what does MUFON stand for?
I don't know, but it is
I
an
think
alien.
sounds
Moulin
interesting. We should
Rouge.
talk about it.
Somebody could Google that while we're talking. But these divers were talking, the divers you were talking about, Little Nash,
Yeah.
that they reported that when they were diving, that this object had moved 25 miles from where it had submerged.
Yeah.
Oh, to where they found it. To where they found.
Where they entered the water at the
Oh.
yellow,
That's
the
probably
yellow
just
foam,
currents.
the sugar spot.
Yeah.
Sugar.
So obviously, this thing, these
I finally just
divers,
put that together. Sorry.
yeah, these divers were basically like, yeah, no, we went looking for it, and
Right.
it was able to move underwater,
Yeah.
which that's
Dang.
Well,
alien
that's,
area.
yeah.
that's
so like, yeah,
it's Atlanteans come home.
They found it near Government Point, which is near a submarine detection base.
Right.
Which is why they were able to be like, wait a minute, what's going on? They spotted it on sonar, and then some vessels were stationed like above it because they were like monitoring it. So after a couple of days, they were planning a salvage operation because it hadn't moved. When a second UFO went underwater and joined the first one. That's what this Chris Stiles. Yeah. Chris Stiles, he's the one that he was interviewing he was interviewing divers, military personnel, and officials that were involved in this incident, and then also like just people that were witnessing stuff. But he from what he was able to gather, that a second UFO showed up, went underwater, and then they were down there for about a week before anybody did anything.
Well, here's the thing. Because it was near this naval base.
Yeah.
This naval base at the time was monitoring for Russian subs.
Yes.
Right. That's
Yes.
what
That we think.
Okay, man, that we think. So they had a lock on what was going on here.
Correct.
Yes.
But a Russian sub had entered whatever perimeter they deemed like nope.
right.
So they had dispatched some of their ships to go check
Air
that out.
quotes Russian sub.
True.
Yes.
But once they these ships were dispatched somewhere else, then the aliens made their move.
Yes, they did.
And they split.
Oh, see.
They made some distance from these other ships and then broke the surface and shot away into the sky. Both of
Do we
these.
know? So how long after that did they shoot away into the sky?
So October 11th, 1967. So that would be
Was the
what?
original incident, right?
6 days later. No.
Oh,
No, they
October
made
4th,
they
and
made
then
their way up
October
to the
11th.
Gulf of
Yes.
Gulf of Maine. So they put distance between themselves
Yeah.
before they shot out of the water
Yes.
and left Earth
Yes.
all forever.
So,
Yeah.
question: how deep is this water that the divers couldn't find them? Or couldn't see? Like, I'm
that's
sure
a
that
great
they have
question.
like
Yeah, I don't
masking
know.
or
Because
whatever.
that's the Atlantic
Cloak
Ocean,
of-
but it's not deep sea. I mean,
No.
it is the Atlantic, but it's still pretty
It
close
was
to
like
shore.
close to shore.
Right.
Yeah. So
Probably
I
like
have no
half a
idea.
kilometer, maybe deep.
Well,
There
I'll
is
tell
a
you what.
theory, Isn't there a theory that that's where they go? Like,
Under the
Under the
into the hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Under the sea.
I
So
have heard that.
I will look that up. First on the queue is the MUFON, is the UFO agency or organization that looks.
What's it stand for?
It doesn't stand for anything.
It has to.
it seeks
MFOUN.
It seeks the
MUFON.
answer to the ancient question: are we alone in the universe?
Yes. So it's
Anyways,
just,
that's the first thing I looked up.
Okay,
I'll,
great.
I'll get to the next one.
Active research.
I can only look up one thing at a time.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with all of our theories.
to look things up. You can use my phone.
Dave's going to be looking stuff up.
Just look up 2 things at a time if you want.
He's going to look up 2 things at a time.
Is that
He's got 2 iPhones in his
Wow,
hand.
here we go. We need a bat computer here.
Jimmy,
This is
go get
awesome.
More beer.
So, yeah, when we come back from the break, Dave's going to have more information than he ever thought he possibly could.
Hey, this is Jack St. Hunter, and if you like found footage films, then join me and my co-host Mark as we discuss all the brand new found footage films, everything that has to do with found footage. So join us every week on Found Footage Radio. Again, Found Footage Radio. You can also catch us at foundfootageradio.com, and if you have any suggestions on any found footage films that you want us to review, email us at foundfootageradio@gmail.com. Again, Found Footage Radio, the #1 spot online for all found footage genre news.
Oh my God, honey, look, it's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot, what you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to ParanormalPunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
Hey y'all, I'm Leah Lawrence.
I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And we host the Southern Spirits Podcast.
Each week we'll sip on a Southern brewed craft beer or wine and toss back a Southern distilled liquor, and I'll let y'all know how I feel about them with a review.
And after we are good and tipsy, I'll bust out a couple of strange, spooky tales from the American South. We are all about true crimes, mysteries, paranormal activity, and cryptozoology.
Basically, if it's Southern and boozy, we'll drink it, and if it's Southern and weird, we'll talk about it.
So join us as we drink our way through the folklore of the South.
Find the Southern Spirits Podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
Bye, y'all.
And we're back. All right, so we gave you the details, but what I really want to know is your honest theories or opinions on what happened October 4th, 1967. Little Nash, I know you've been chomping at the bit to give me your theory. I want you to kick off the second half. Go for it.
So, my theory is that instead of a UFO, it's actually an anomalous occurrence called ball lightning. Has anybody ever heard of ball lightning?
We have. We've talked about it.
We did an episode on the Brown Mountain Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
If you remember the Brown Mountain Lights, some people theorize that they're ball lightning.
Yeah. And
ball lightning is awesome.
yeah, and when it hit the surface of the water, since water's actually an insulator, Dad, it's the stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dad always says it's like superconductive.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Could you, for any listener that maybe didn't listen to the Brown Mountain Lights episode, or just for me, can you give me kind of a quick 30-second on what ball lightning really is?
Ball lightning is like, imagine lightning, but it was a ball, and it floated around instead of just zapping the ground. It just
So you're
floated
telling
around.
me that lightning could actually be contained in a bubble of sorts?
Well, it's not contained.
Like
it just exists
orb-like.
as like a bubble orb form, and it floats around like a ghost and shiznanigans.
Shiznanigans?
Yes. And so when it hit the water, all the yellow foam and stuff was just dead algae, plankton, and fungi that was already in the water. And the only reason you didn't see it beforehand was because it was mixed around doing its stuff. Yes.
Yeah, but how can you explain that everybody, where the ship entered the water, there was this yellow foam and had that sulfur smell?
Yeah, because fungi and stuff eat all kinds of stuff. What if what they ate was very sulfuric?
Who ate what?
The fungi, bacteria, and stuff.
The stuff. And it was electrified and kind of burned.
And when it was burned, it would give off a sulfuric smell.
Okay.
All right, so you say we have algae or whatever hanging in the water. The ball
Yeah.
lightning hits it, and it does cause this
Yes.
reaction in the water, and that's what gives that smell.
So I have to ask, and
What? Yes?
this isn't, how did you make the leap from yellow foam to sulfur?
What do you mean, yellow foam?
Oh, because it said there was a sulfuric
Yeah, one
smell.
of the dudes was out in the water in his boat. A captain,
Said there
captain
was
of a boat.
a smell
He
of
said it
sulfur.
was giving off a sulfur smell.
Okay. Well, that's
What about all those stoned teenagers that also witnessed this?
Okay.
Well, they're drunk.
They smelled a very earthy.
Oh, yeah,
it was a very earthy
Right.
smell. They
Really
had.
drunk, man. Dude, it was like so.
Smells like skunks around
And then we smell flowers.
Yeah, and then
smells like
when they went under to find the UFO, what they actually found was a drumroll, please. Does anyone know? A what's it called? Man of war, dead man of war.
Like a
The
giant
jellyfish?
Yeah, a giant dead man of war.
Wow.
Jellyfish, man of war.
They're not jellyfish.
It was supposed to be about
Man of war.
between 60 and 80
ocean
feet.
creature.
Yes, the man
that
of war.
is, yeah.
Because
It's like the mastiff
they've
of
been found
jellyfish.
washing up there, and they might be like
How big are they?
The ones that are washing up.
they can vary in size from like 5 inches wide or something. I don't know.
Well, this is 60 to 80 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they-
but
can they get that
can
big?
I don't know.
Dave?
They might just
Can they get
burrow
that
under, and the
can
sand
get quite
rises
large.
around them and stuff.
All right, so you
don't think-
so you're saying
What about
it was
a
not
pod?
alien at all.
Oh, yeah, I think.
I'm saying it's not alien, And the other little things that were
You
trailing
know this
behind
show's
it,
called Paranormal Punchers.
Right.
We talking about
you gotta have those theories, in there. That might
That
debunk
one
it.
of the potentials it could be this giant that it hit the fungus, burned the fungus, went underwater, and then a man of war or something like that.
And why it floated was because, like I said, water's an insulator, Dad. Not wow.
Dude, he's shutting you down.
Yeah, big time.
So what if it was like a pack of man-o-war? Because 60 to 80 feet is
might be
pretty big area.
Because after all, I've heard that man of war aren't just one creature. They're like
a whole band.
Yeah, it's a whole band of small organisms.
Are you saying Man of War is like, we are Legion?
It's a rock.
And they all group
Like
up
Borg.
together? Yeah.
They're like the Borg.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
A Borg.
Okay, what was the size you gave?
What?
What was the size you gave?
The minimum I think can be like 5 inches wide or something.
But no, the max.
I don't know. I don't know the max, and I just think that it burrowed
Into the microphone. In the pocket.
It burrowed into the sand, and when it did, all the water, sand came up around it to make room for that extra space, and that's what gave it the 60 to 80 feet.
All right, so if I go by your theory, the orange lights that everybody saw was ball lightning.
Yes.
Hit the surface of the water.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow foam was already there. It was algae
And-
rotting on top of the surface.
No, it
making
wasn't
a
just
stank.
rotting. It was just algae and plankton in the water.
Okay, what about the yellowish color?
Yeah, that's dead algae and plankton.
I always thought it was green, so
okay.
I'm not a
Look at the
marine
size of
biologist.
these
Okay,
things.
so
All right, so they get huge?
Interject.
Wait, let me
Yeah.
finish my
Okay.
questioning with
I get next.
Little Nash. And then, so when the divers went down, they saw possibly a man of war carcass covered with sand. So they thought, what is that hump?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And they
I
just
wanted to
connected
clarify.
the dots without getting any
So you
evidence.
guys found how big they can really get?
Yes.
Okay, go, Dave.
So a man of war can get up to 10 meters.
How many
through
feet, man?
30
3.3
meters.
meters. 3.3 meters.
So
3.3
33 feet to 98 feet.
Thank you, Dave. I don't know what Nash was trying to make me do math over here.
3.3 feet per meter.
So
But
they
that
can
is
get-
exceptionally large for a man of war.
All right, so that's not
Portuguese man.
80 feet.
Well, hold
Nash,
on.
read
but-
your little paragraph
But you did
there,
say
Nash.
about multiple hanging out.
And the one thing I want to throw
Well, I never
out,
said multiple.
and this
I
is the
just
question
said
I
the
had
sand
started
around
on, and we never actually got an answer on it, but it makes sense. So yellow foam, where does that come from? And we talked about sulfur.
Beer.
Sulfur will turn yellow. So the yellow foam could be sulfur, but no one was making the leap of yellow foam to sulfur. We were just talking about it. No, the yellow foam was probably sulfuric.
Nobody was making the leap because I don't know that.
But see, that's why I was
Don't
asking.
act like we missed a beat.
Why did
Well-
we go from yellow foam to sulfur? Where did that leap come from? But it doesn't.
A boat captain.
It
Because they
makes
said it
sense
was a
that it could be
smell.
the same thing. But where did that leap come from? Who came up with the concept that this was sulfur, or was it tested? Was the
No.
yellow foam
No, he did
tested
just
for
smelled
sulfur?
like sulfur.
boat
was it
captain.
the
Yeah,
smell?
it smelled
Yeah.
like
Where did that come
sulfur.
from?
Like
Yeah.
Now,
What are you so mad about? That boat captain, he said it was yellow foam and it smelled like sulfur. That's his opinion.
now one of the things
It sounds like you want to fight the captain.
I do, because that's how you make stuff up. And
We're
we come up
punchers,
with,
man. Come
with
on.
fake news.
now,
Probably all of this is fake
now,
news.
although
just to be
they
honest.
were now, what I found
Oh, you're a naysayer.
was that although the man of war is about 30 to 35 feet long,
that is
minimum,
pretty. That's
minimum.
minimum.
and they're very poisonous.
maximum.
Yes.
It says these long thin tendrils that come from the man of war can extend to 165 feet in length.
Told you they can get
No,
big.
I'm going to say that's really big.
Wow, That's
165
It's really
feet.
long. Like,
and they pretty much can kill you, right?
Oh yeah, they're
Yes,
you're dead
they can
meat.
kill you
Yeah, that's it.
easily.
You're dead. So it's about 30 feet big, but about 5 times longer. The tendrils that come out from behind it. So maybe.
Yeah.
All right, now since you're on the mic, super solid theory. What?
Okay.
Break it down for me, bro.
Okay, so I was looking at this incident of 1967, and I said, okay, well, what else happened in 1967 UFO wise in Canada? Okay,
our nation's capital.
Canada.
it's Canada. So I found
sorry.
another incident
Yeah.
in
Our friends in Canada, we're sorry.
yeah, yeah. I found another incident in a place called Falcon Lake, which is in Manitoba, Canada. now that's about 2,000 miles away, and
Doesn't
it was about
exist.
Falcon Punch.
what? Falcon. Anyway, so
Which is also a mythological creature.
yeah,
The Falcon Punch.
the Falcon Punch. That's right. So in Falcon Lake, about in early May, a very similar thing happened where there was a UFO incident following the same MO as the one that we're talking about at we're going to Shag Harbour. Okay. So then I got into thinking, okay, well, if these two things happened in 1967, I was like, okay, well, what else happened of notoriety in 1967? So what I found was that in 1967, there was a few interesting things that happened in 1967. Okay, so I was looking at, these are UFOs. They're implanting into our society. Okay.
You keep saying 1967.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Over
What about
and over again.
1968?
I do.
So what happened in 1967?
That's a good question, Dave. Because in 1967, aliens came down in Falcon Lake. Okay.
Falcon Punch.
Their first place was in Falcon Lake. Their second place was in, we're going to Shag Harbour. Now, in Falcon Lake, near Falcon Lake, 2 people were born in 1968, which is roughly 9 to 10 months after the arrival in 1967.
I think more than
Is
just
this
2
like
people
Adam
were
Marvel
born.
and stuff?
I don't know.
Adam Warlock.
Adam
Warlock.
Yeah.
No.
Adam
So-
Warlock.
2 people of notoriety were born. Okay. Gary Coleman. Okay. We all know Gary Coleman.
Yes.
And Celine Dion. Okay. So that.
You're saying they're aliens?
Okay. So hold on to that.
Brother
There's
and
more.
sister, man.
There's more. Okay. So that happened. So they came down. The aliens came down to Falcon Lake and started breeding into people in 1967 to be born early 1968. Which is when Celine and Gary were born. Okay. They're both stars in their own right, notoriety. Obviously, one is still with us. One is not. Okay. They were really attempting to implant the upper echelons of society. Okay. So then they went from there. They did some more breeding, but those were the 2 really the guiding lights that they had. They went to, we're going to Shag Harbour, and they did something similar. Shag Harbour is about 2,000 miles away. Okay, so later in that same year of 1968, okay, we had 2. I have 2 more people that were born. Okay, Terry Crews, from Terry Crews.
Yeah.
And Anthony Michael Hall.
Okay.
Okay, you following me on this? Okay.
So they're not producing like.
I understand what
So
you're saying.
they
but
blew
I'm
their
not
wad
following
with
you.
Celine Dion, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is what they did in Falcon Lake was a little more specialized because they needed to get more mass media. Now, although the Terry Crews and Anthony Michael Hall, they're well-known actors, they're not on the same star level as the previous 2. Okay.
Just to interject,
disagree.
Okay.
Is Terry Crews, Anthony Michael Hall, are they both Canadian?
I believe so.
Okay.
So
Are you sure they're not the same person?
both. Okay. Now, this is where I found some craziness. Okay. So both Terry Crews and Anthony Michael Hall both worked on a show, the same year. Can anybody guess what show that is?
I don't know any kids.
Saturday Night Live. No.
No.
Kids in the Hall.
No.
What's the name of that?
Golden Girls?
No.
What was that show from Canada?
No, it
thing
wasn't.
with that
Upright
one.
Citizens Brigade?
That's a good one. John Candy.
To Gracie High.
No. So, anyway, they worked on a bull show that we all know of called American Dad.
What? What the heck?
American Dad. Okay, American Dad.
That's recent.
Oh, the cartoon.
The cartoon, American
recent.
Dad, which
You
is
can't-
more. It was in 2011. They both worked on
It
it.
doesn't have anything to do with this.
That's where you're wrong, Dave. Okay, so
Yeah,
American
Dave.
Dad was created by a guy named Seth MacFarlane, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, see, Seth MacFarlane.
I don't know who he is.
Seth MacFarlane worked with Celine Dion at the John Williams Orchestra singing with her.
No.
Yeah, I kid you not. This is what I
Seth
found.
MacFarlane is. He can't.
He's
do
a singer. He also
He's
sang
not
before he
a
got into
singer.
TV. he was
He's
singer.
a pretty talented dude.
He is.
could
He's
sing
super
and do
talented.
voice work, yeah.
So he worked with
going into,
Celine
like,
Dion at the
Twilight
John
Zone
Williams
kind
Orchestra. So that's where Celine enlisted him to put favor towards these other experiments that were coming up that became Terry Crews and Anthony Michael Hall to give them a shot on his cartoon. That's how Celine Dion and Anthony Michael Hall, Terry Crews, and the other aliens are seeding our community to take control of our population
our media
and the human race.
So they're just putting
There you
yellow
go.
ooze
Oh my
everywhere and just multiplying.
I kind of want to use words I've never used in my life.
I'll tell you.
Guys, I have a really important question about this.
Yeah,
Where do
go ahead.
Somebody,
Who
please.
the heck are these aliens banging to get famous people
they're
every
Canadians.
time?
And I also have examples of 2 more Canadians born in 1968 that kind of fell in the middle there. Both Canadians,
that
both
aren't
born.
midgets or
Come on.
No,
crazy.
Daniel Craig and Brendan Fraser.
hot and weird.
I don't know.
Both were in a
Wait, they're both
Both hot
Daniel
and
Craig's
weird.
Canadian?
Yeah, he's
I thought
Canadian.
He's English.
He was born in Canada and
That's
then
because he's
lived in
James
England.
Bond, I assume.
I will
Yeah.
always say it that way. I'm sorry.
Huh.
I'm telling you, that's how
All right, so your
they're.
theory is almost like the reptilian overlord theory, where they could.
Yes.
Wait, so where did your
This doesn't
theory?
make any
Was there a
sense.
theory here? Or
Oh wait, the theory is
Are we
that.
on TMZ?
Say that again.
Okay.
Because that's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
I don't
My-
hear a theory. I hear a TMZ.
So
episode.
my base theory is that the aliens who are in league with the reptilian overlords, who have been enlisted by the reptilian overlords, or of the same race, are taking over our planet, and this is how they're doing it. Matching this
All right.
specific criteria.
I would like to.
How does it? I still don't see the parallel. Like, he's like, "See? Do you guys see?" I'm like,
They're taking over.
No.
They're trying to rule the world by controlling all the media.
I'm like, kids, don't do drugs.
So,
Yeah.
so
Or you have theories
Hashtag
like that.
Nash.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw it over here to Abby. Abby, first time on the show,
Hi,
hanging
friends.
out with us. Did you got
Yes.
any opinions or theories on this?
on this specific topic, or in general?
On this alien topic?
Because I've
Or,
got some
but if
things.
you got some opinions on other stuff, we'll listen.
Are you ready? No.
Yeah.
So just watching a lot of, my husband and I are really big into watching documentaries and whatever's offered on the internet, basically, which is all truth. But
All
honestly,
truth.
I aliens are, they live, to me, my husband and I have talked about this. Shout out to Tony. He,
What's up, T-Dog?
we believe, he actually goes by that sometimes. We know that aliens live in space, and it's kind of annoying that we've spent so much money going up. Why don't we spend money going down and search the depths of the ocean for some of this stuff? Because that's where they go. It takes a long time for them to get to their home planet, wherever that may be. But they live essentially in the ocean.
Yeah,
So The Abyss, the movie The Abyss.
Yeah.
I love that movie, by the way.
Such a good movie. And I watched it when I was a kid and then watched it recently, and I was like, yes, that's where they are.
And this is not the only time aliens have been reported over the water.
Right.
So they are
And
spending
you know what?
time.
And it's
a great
70
place to hide. It's
like
not easy.
80% of
to go looking
sightings
for
are
them.
over waterways. I don't quote me on that, but I saw that in a documentary recently that most sightings of UFOs are over larger waterways, specifically Atlantic, I believe. But they're obviously they come and go. They're coming to check on us. They're hurting our crops because they don't want to see too much corn. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
So
Aliens hate corn?
and they don't want us to eat corn, I guess.
Well, it'd be easier,
Corn, I don't
easier to
remember
manufacture.
Really hard for the probing. I
Whatever
guess.
they breathe, it would be easier to manufacture underwater.
Oh, true.
Well,
Really?
we may
But
never
there's just
know.
so many
I'm going to
theories.
move us along.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
You asked my opinion. I didn't know how long I had. That was a little.
Well, you do, but what's Nash jumps in about
got 30
popcorn? I don't know. Head on over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Drop a review. We'd love to have you help us out on iTunes. Leave a comment, smash a 5-star. I don't care. Whatever you feel you need to do.
Give us a theory. Give us your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but you can't do that at iTunes. So you go over to paranormalpunches.com, send us a message with your theories, and we'll talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
And while you're there, hit the link that says shop. We got some T-shirts. We got a comic book. We got stickers. Support the show. Excellent way to support the show. Grab some swag. Make yourself look hot. And we'll Well, that's cool. I don't know. Why'd you laugh, Dave? I was in the mood, in the flow.
Never mind.
No, go ahead. You're closing out the show, bro.
Little Nash has something too. Hold on.
No matter how much I wear Paranormal Punchers gear, I'm never going to be hot. But
Well,
if it's not interesting.
people will disagree
what
with you,
you
buddy.
say.
I think you look hot.
I just wanted to say one thing. What do you call a perverted mermaid?
I don't know.
A seaman.
Bone chicken.
And on that note,
Correct.
remember, friends, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.